Well, believe it or not, I am actually working on the little 9x20 lathe. Now, this thing's been dead for years, and I've had the motor mounted for at least a year, if not two. Anyway, what I had to do was, since this motor is different, the way the pulley attached and stuff like that, I need the tooth belt to drive this, and then there'll be a small little V-belt that runs the rest. Well, I had to bore this out to fit, okay, and it's close enough. There's no keyway, and there's no way for me to machine a keyway into here. Maybe very tricky, but yeah. So anyway, what I'm going to try, I may have to resort to that later, but what I did was, whatever pulley came off of here, I turned it down into this, and that goes on there, basically extends the shaft, and now I can use the set screw in here. What I got to do though first, before I can trust that, is I'm going to Loctite this onto the shaft. Okay, I could epoxy it, but with bearing and shaft retainer 680, I can heat it up and take it back off if I really have to. I don't think that's going to be necessary. And I already cleaned them out with brake cleaner and stuff like that. So, and normally it doesn't take a great deal, but I'm going to actually, the threads are a little on the loose side. So I'm actually going to be a little bit generous with it. And I put it out here on the front side, so that way as it spins in, it'll just carry it toward the back there. Oh yeah, you can feel it goop up in there nicely. Alright. And a rag. We'll just take the excess off there, just to make sure we don't have anything we got to sand down or clean up later. So that ought to do the trick. Let's see here. Apply it to both parts. Assemble with a turning motion. Did all that. It's for a slip fit. If you use primer, I forget what the spec is. It's his 7th thou or something like that without primer. So if you get primer, you can go up to somewhere around 14, I think. I'd have to look all that up. That's at this point, that's basically just a guess. So I'm going to let that set. Yeah, I did have the control box mounted down here, and I thought it's been so long since I've worked on this thing. I was thinking, oh, then the cable connections to the control box. If I move this box up to here, you know, behind the, that's all the, if I move the control box up to here, well, all the box was that was down here is just simply the drive for the motor. Okay, this particular machine did not have any controls, does not have any controls, where the speed is controlled by the control software, which is Mach 3 in this case. And it's going to stay that way for a while. I am hoping to connect up the sensor. There is a proc switch, a light barrier, something, you know, back inside here, and it triggers it. And so that was how you knew the RPM was. It would trigger the, what is that, a Shoemake? Shumatech over there. And so then I think it was the Z2 axis would read the RPMs. So anyway, it will make it to where I don't have it hanging down here, and it'll just make it a little bit cleaner and more concise kind of thing. But once this glues on, then I can put the pulley on there, so I think in the meantime I'm going to get the box mounted up here. Oh, I got to figure out the tensioner. I can't figure out the tensioner until I have the pulley on. So, alright, well, it's at an angle because it keeps tracking out this way. Oh, that's better. I'm going to have to... oh, okay, I see the play. The play is actually in the bracket that's mounted to the aluminum plate. So I'm going to have to play with that, track that, and get that tightened up. And that way I should be able to adjust the tension up and down without having to worry about the tracking. But I can't have it riding off the back of this pulley here, so... I figured out where the wires were. On the forward reverse switch up here, the wires going to the motor, there was one connector just like right up against the terminal on the switch. There wasn't one on the other side. Well, I went and looked at the old motor, and there was the connector, one of these spade terminal. And so that answered the question. That broke off of the switch. So rather than try to just add it, I just went ahead and took the old wiring off and added new wiring and extended the wires down to make it a whole lot easier to plug them back together. Okay, and then I went ahead and made them red and black so that I don't have to guess next time, hopefully. You know, and I didn't shoot any video of wiring that switch, anything like that. Quite honestly, partly because I was being selfish. It was just nice to do the work without having to think about it, you know, as far as video and stuff like that, and blah, 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 and worry about having more video racked up for editing. Anyway, I have got it off. It's in the middle between forward and reverse. All it's going to do is spin this pulley. But I figured I'd get this perspective in case something smokes. This is the first... I think I tested this motor once before on this box. I'm sure I have. Otherwise I wouldn't have gone through all the work and that stuff. I did come up with a little tensioner. Okay, it's just a turnbuckle there that I can tighten up. I don't have anything to hold it yet. So we'll see whether or not it vibrates and moves and stuff like that. So let's... okay, here we go. Plugging it in. I have a light. Alright, it's lit up either way. Okay, now it says on. Let's see here. Let's go forward. So I have the on-off switch upside down in the hole up here. So, because it says it's flipped to the off direction. Anyway. I'm going to have to track that a little bit because it is rubbing on the pulley there. Turn it all the way back down to 0. Flip the direction. Yay, it goes the other way. Okay, now that's on continuous run. Let's see if the jog actually works. It does. It's kind of hokey. I'm not exactly sure. Oh. Well, it doesn't shut off. flipping the on-off switch. I can put it. I can either put it to jog or I can put it in the middle. But for whatever reason, it does not power off. Okay. It would be nice to remake this panel, but I did unplug it. I'm just going to push that switch back up there. Okay, and what I did was the purple wires were on the middle contacts. Okay, and this thing has a light in here, so my supposition was that the light was causing it to stay on, basically. Normally on a rocker switch like this, when you flip it up, the rocker pushes the contacts over and makes it make here. But that was the off position, so for right now I'm just gonna, because the top spot is labeled as off. So let's plug it back in. Okay, now it lights up, showing that it's got power. Okay, I have the speed up, I have it in forward. A lot of times, you know, you're supposed to put these things to 0 when you they don't want to start unless you start them at 0. Okay, but let's hit it to on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so maybe earlier I just interesting. Ooh, that stopped with a regenerative brake. That didn't, interesting. Got to turn it down and bring it back up. That's always one of those annoying things with a treadmill motor. Not sure I'd want to use this as the start and stop though, because pops up to speed nice and quick. But if you hit it, and I'm just getting it working, so I really don't want to try. Okay, and I'm feeling the top of the box here because I know, because of the 2 screws that I can see here, that the heatsink is up on this side. So I'll have to play with that later or whatever, but okay. I definitely got to play with the motor and get the tracking on. Yeah, it's rubbing the bottom of the back of the pulley there. It's almost alive.